Hey guys, I'm so excited to be back doing this video with you. It is the first episode of my gut healing series, and obviously I am so passionate about this. I of course as always wanted to let you know that I'm not a healthcare professional yet, so please consult whoever you are working with prior to taking this advice. But this is really what I have done throughout my process, from healing my gut last time to everything I've been through this year, what I've learned, and how I've really recognized the gut needs to be healed really in 3 stages. The first stage is we're cleansing and we're detoxifying the gut. So that's going to look like your antimicrobial herbs, things that you guys don't really need me to cover because there is an integrated doctor or a naturopath or someone that I'm sure has told you 100 times about antimicrobial herbs, but herbs to cleanse toxins. We want to strip the gut of what is kind of congesting it, all these toxins that lie in the gut. And also, if you refer to my video, I'll put it here, my last video talking about, mycotoxins, mold, underlying viral loads, things like that. We can put all of that into the cleanse and detoxify section that you're going to do before we talk about what I want to talk about now, which is reseeding the gut. Because this is where I feel like most people get stuck. And it's because it's where I got stuck. Because I feel like the mainstream narrative about reseeding the gut looks like lots of probiotics, lots of fermented foods. Those things great. We're going to tap onto them in a second. They can be great for certain people. I think we skip this reseeding step and we go to the healing phase too quickly. And I think there is a phase in between detoxifying and rehealing called reseeding. And this is what I want to go over. And I'm going to use an analogy with you. It's literally the best way that I understood my gut. There's 3 aspects to this that I live by. Reseeding your gut with nutrition, as we know. Reseeding your gut with medicines or holistic remedies to help you reseed your gut. And then there's reseeding your gut with your lifestyle, with your thoughts, with your emotions. That's what I really want to touch on, because I think it's a huge gap between having this gut that's filled with toxins that we have to clear out. A lot of the times we do that. Sometimes people do it with antibiotics, they do it with antimicrobial herbs. And then we're left with this gut that is irritated, it is permeable, and it is unhappy. We have food intolerances, all of these things where the gut is in an inflammatory state. So we need to reseed it. We need to calm the inflammation and then really heal it. Really throw in those good, nourishing foods, those fermented foods, probiotics if you wish to. But I think there is another way that we can look at this outside of the mainstream narrative of, take these 6 supplements, take heaps of glutamine, take, slippery elm, take fermented foods, take heaps of probiotics, and your gut will be better. I see so many people where their gut is worse when they do those things. And I think it's because they miss this step. Reseeding your gut. What does it look like? I don't know. It's kind of an idea that I don't know where I caught onto it. Maybe I learned it from another doctor, but it's something that really resonated with me. There has to be a step in between that we are skipping. So reseeding the gut. The first thing is obviously nutrition. The second thing is there anything that we can use to support that reseeding process? And the third thing, which is the most important, how can we nurture and support this reseeding process, our thoughts, with our emotions and our lifestyle? I want to give you an analogy, and this is the analogy that made me understand this process so clearly. The world outside us is the world within us. Our gut is literally a forest. And stay with me for a second. Our gut is literally a forest. When we have taken all of these antibiotics, all of these toxins are in our system, all these pesticides are in our system, we are like a farm and the soil that has been tilled over and over and over again. If you know what tilling is, it's like in commercial agriculture where they strip the soil bare to the point that nothing will grow. So once you have stripped soil bare, just like we've done in our gut, with toxic thoughts, with toxic emotions, with toxins in our environment, with pesticides and herbicides literally designed to destroy the flora within us, just like they destroy the flora in our environment. We've got all these things that have happened. So now we've got a barren landscape, just like you see the barren fields that have been over-tilled. So the soil is bare. And the thing about the environment is, if we look at a forest, it is biodiverse. Certain trees have certain relationships with other trees. Certain birds feed on certain flowers. Certain insects need certain flowers to survive. They all relate and integrate and work with each other to have a healthy, functioning ecosystem. We are exactly the same. So if you go back to now, that barren field that has been stripped bare, that is our gut. When we have exposed it to all of these toxins and all of these antibiotics. So we are now left with a bare ecosystem. Then we skip this reseeding process and we go straight to reheal, repopulate the gut. Let me remind you of something. Do you expect a flower to grow in a barren desert? If you imagine that bare field, if we cover it in seeds, do you think they will flourish? When it's dry and it's barren, it is lacking minerals, lacking moisture, lacking nourishment. Do you think anything will grow? No. The birds will come and eat the seeds. The animals won't be there to fertilize the seeds. So they will just be there in this barren environment. And that is how I look at probiotics. Let me just explain my opinion on probiotics. Probiotics can be a really good thing, in my opinion, for a short period of time. For instance, if you are struggling with chronic yeast issues, pessary probiotics can be instant relief and instant help. You've just had antibiotics and you are really, really suffering, it can bring some instant help. But you know what else it does? If we are taking the same probiotics day in, day out, you know what that's creating? That's creating a monoculture. So now your forest only has 1, 2, maybe 3 different types of trees. So are certain birds going to be able to live there? No. Are certain flowers going to grow there? No. So all of a sudden, that forest has lost its biodiversity. And that is what we need inside us to thrive. Because just like that forest, we need the enzymes together, working together. We need the junctions of the gut to be tight and secure. We need the function there, this biodiverse environment, to thrive as human beings the way that our environment needs that biodiversity too. So that is my problem with long-term probiotics. You create monocultures. Too much of a, quote, good bacteria still becomes then a pathogenic bacteria. It's still an overgrowth. It can still cause the bloating, the discomfort that you feel from these pathogenic bacteria. Everything in our world, everything within us has to be in balance. And that's why I know it sucks, but there is no quick fix, not enough glutamine in the world or probiotics that can all of a sudden create a forest from a barren landscape. We have to reseed, we have to re-nourish the soil, get the fundamentals there. We need to re-nourish that soil to allow things to grow. So when it comes to reseeding your gut, it is all about teaching your gut to communicate again. Teaching the bacteria to communicate with each other, because that is exactly what it does in nature. When you strip it bare, the communication disappears. That bird that feeds on that certain tree no longer communicating. They are no longer cross-pollinating. It's exactly in our gut. We have to get our gut communicating. And the way that we do that is we reseed the gut. The way that we reseed the gut, number one, with nutrition. If we're looking at nutrition for reseeding the gut, it's pretty simple. You're going to be eating things that are really, really gentle on the gut. You are not going to go crazy on 75 different types of fermented foods. You are going to be nourishing that fundamental soil. You are going to be closing those tight junctions that have become leaky, and you are going to be encouraging all the bacteria to communicate again, to allow your gut to start to flourish and create this biodiversity again. So you're going to be eating these that are really, really easy to digest. So I want a slow cooker on, I want a pressure cooker on. There is nothing wrong with plant-based foods as long as the gut irritants are cooked out of them. I am a true believer that overthinking what we eat and being so controlling over what we eat, yes, sometimes elimination, nutrition is needed and it's important. But a lot of the time, stress that's caused from eliminating everything out of our diet, having that cortisol spike, that is not allowing you to heal. So all I want you to do is that if you are eating anything, you want to make sure that if it's a plant food, make sure if it's high in anti-nutrients, in phytic acid, like in nuts or in grains, make sure it's slow cooked. Like in beans, make sure they are pressure cooked, they are drained, they are washed. If you're going to have rice, make sure it is soaked overnight and then cooked well. Opt for white rice. If you're going to have beans, just make sure they are sprouted, soaked, and cooked. It doesn't take any longer. You just throw them in some water. All about closing these tight junctions and getting your gut to understand, okay, we need to re-communicate, and starving it is not going to help, and not nourishing it with those good fibers also isn't going to help. We just need to make it as easily digestible and least irritating as possible. So we're not going to go crazy on spicy food. If we're thinking about spices, we're thinking about like fennel, cardamom, ginger, things like gentle but are nourishing. Soups and broths are obviously great. Collagen is obviously great. Gelatin is also great. All of these amino acids are very nourishing. Stepping onto supplements, do I think you need to go out and buy Leaky Gut Formula 101? Do I think you need to go and get a heap of glutamine? No, I don't. If you're going to have anything, have some aloe vera. It is antiviral, it is anti-inflammatory, and is so soothing on your gut. Kind of reseeding from a nutritional standpoint. Now, what about reseeding from the supplement standpoint? The only thing that I introduced into my ritual to reseed my gut was Intelligence of Nature Iron Biome. And I bought this like 3 years ago when I was living in Australia. And to be honest, I stopped using it after 6 months because I didn't understand the product. I just bought it because it said gut health, heal your gut lining. But I didn't understand how. I was taking this little bit of liquid every day. And for me, I have to know how this is helping me. Did I see some benefit? Yes, I did. But then I was like, is it diet? Is it this supplement? And I stopped using it because I didn't understand the supplement itself. Iron Biome, Intelligence of Nature, is basically an ancient mineral complex. You know what it does? It's not a probiotic. It's not a prebiotic. It is the step before we go in trying to re-nourish. And it is teaching your cells, it's teaching your gut microbiome to communicate again. It is teaching the lining of your gut, those tight junctions, to close and to heal. It is ancient minerals, ancient soils that we wouldn't be getting from soil anymore. Comes into your gut, lowers inflammation, and says to all the cells, hey, we need to start communicating again. We need to start working together, and we need to start closing these tight junctions, because all the time the junctions of our gut are like this. Everything inflammatory is passing into our bloodstream, causing autoimmune issues, causing inflammatory skin conditions, causing food intolerances. You know, I'm just so passionate about this. Then I bought it again after my whole appendix scenario. Yeah, that is it. That is the missing link. That is the step between detoxing and re-healing that everybody is missing. And finally, somebody speaks my language. And that was where I learnt the analogy of the forest. And it made complete sense. And it's the only thing that has helped. I haven't done probiotics. I haven't done anything. My skin is amazing. It's the only thing that helped. And after years of trying probiotics and having side effects and buying every stupid supplement under the sun and spending so much money, I realized my gut's not ready to be thrown at it all this different bacteria and all these fermented foods. It's too much. There's a step in between that people are missing. We need to get the gut talking again. We need to get this biodiversity back. And how do we do that? By closing these tight junctions and by teaching the cells to communicate again. Last step of reseeding, after we've looked at nutrition, after we've looked at is there anything that can support me supplement-wise, the last thing, to reseed the gut, that includes what are we reseeding in ourselves. When you think of seeds, seeds are all life kind of originates from. You know, when it sprouts, when a flower blossoms. I see that a seed as a physical manifestation. You know, what are we manifesting? If we're manifesting negative seeds, that seed is never going to sprout and it's never going to blossom. But if we are manifesting positive things, we are telling ourselves positive things. It's not about being positive all the time. But if we are taking control of the way we speak to ourselves, do you bully yourself? Are you unkind to yourself? I know I can be. I think everybody can be. If you expect your gut to heal and you really want to reseed your gut, you have to reseed your thinking. You have to reseed your brain processes that are bullying you, that are tearing you down. You know, your body's not good enough. Your skin's not good enough. You're not smart enough. All of these thoughts that go through our head that are created by this society that we live in that is so high pressure, I've realized none of that is real. The only thing that is real is you and the way you speak to yourself. Everything else, the way that we look at ourselves because of the exterior world, none of that is real and none of that matters. So what are you going to seed within yourself? Because I want to be sprouting seeds from, I'm so grateful that my parents are here visiting me. I am so grateful for the knowledge I am learning to share with others. I am so thankful that I have the opportunity to connect with all of you. I am wonderful. I am intelligent. You know? And yeah, sometimes we don't always feel it. And you can feel into your emotions and really express them. That's a big part of the detoxify process, you know? If you're detoxifying your gut, we have to also detoxify our brain, detoxify the way we speak to ourselves. But right now we are reseeding. So what do you want to seed in your life? What do you want to see blossom in your life? Truly reseed our gut. We have to look at our food. Look, is there anything else from nature that can support us? And how are we reseeding what we want? If we want this forest within us that is diverse, that is thriving, that is happy, that is healed, that is built for longevity, then are we reflecting that in our minds? What are you seeding into your brain? In other words, what are you manifesting? What are you telling yourself? Because the gut-brain connection, they have realized it goes both ways. Neurotransmitters from your gut go to your brain goes down to your gut. Your emotions influence your gut influences your brain. It is a two-way street. So if we really want to get to the heal phase, the heal your gut phase, we have to first, after we have detoxified, we have cleansed, we have cleared, we have to look at reseeding, then healing, not skipping this essential step. I'm so, so thankful for you. I feel so grateful that I can connect with you on this. I really hope that resonated with some of you, because all of you deserve to have a forest blossoming inside of you. And I know it's a hard journey, and sometimes, you know, probiotics feel like a quick fix, and sometimes they can be for short term, but If we want to build a forest within ourselves from a barren landscape, there is work to do, and it begins with reseeding ourselves, our thoughts, our nutrition. And is there anything else that can help us to close those tight junctions in our gut so we can allow for things to grow? I appreciate you. Have the most beautiful day. I'm so thankful for all of you, and ask me any questions below.